So let's dive right into this rifle. This is a very high-end rifle. I think total MSRP for this thing comes out about $2,400. That's not including any of the discounts if you use code DELP either at American Defense or at Optics Planet. So it's
big chunk of change.
It's a big chunk of change, and that's just the rifle. That's not the optic or the laser or the light or anything else, sling, what have you. That is just the rifle. So we're gonna go tip to butt, like, you know, not butt to tip, like old grand thumb. And we'll start here at the very front. So
mean side. The
mean side. So this does have a Surefire
muzzle device.
Surefire muzzle device. It's the 3-prong, really nice flash hider. Does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's really high quality. You know, Surefire makes great, fantastic stuff. We're running a Scout Light here on this build, and you know, I mean, it leaves nothing to
looks mean.
Yeah, it looks mean. And leaves nothing to be desired in terms of the flash hider. I mean, I wouldn't upgrade it. I wouldn't change anything about it.
Why would you? That's everything you need.
And that's kind of, I think, a good point to even start out on this rifle. This is kind of like your in-game rifle. You don't need to change much on this thing.
You're buying it as it is for that reason.
So let's move on to the barrel. But before we do, we would like to give a few special shout outs to some people. First things first, Basement Operator. Basement Operator is our kind of brand here at, you know, our YouTube channel. There you can go to basementoperator.com. There you can find a bunch of awesome merch. You can find different builds like this rifle right here. We have this build up on the channel. So if you want to know exactly what's on this rifle, you can go to basementoperator.com, go to builds, and you can
voila,
find this whole thing here, and then it'll give you links so you can just go pick it up and whatnot. Next things next, American Defense Manufacturing. Big thank you to them. They did send out the lower receiver and some optics mounts for this build. We wanted to keep it all one rifle, so we didn't want to do an upper from American Defense and a random lower. Yeah, we didn't want to mix match it, so we reached out and they did send out the lower for some content, so big thank you to them. And then, of course, the biggest thank you to Optics Planet, who kind of catalyzed this build off. They sent out the rest of the stuff for the build to kind of get it going and get this moving along, so big thank you to Optics Planet. If you want to check out Optics Planet, you go over there and use code DELP. It saves you 7% off anything. So that's a pretty awesome savings. So Optics Planet, code DELP, saves you 7%. So this is a Criterion 223 Wild barrel. Very high end, very nice, very well made, extremely accurate barrel. This gun's extremely accurate. It's done fantastic in terms of shooting performance. We have a Vortex Venom, which is only like a $500 optic, but it's ran great so far. I mean, this is a definitely MOA, sub-MOA gun, depending on what kind of ammo you're using, of course. But
this barrel is meant to last.
Yeah, and this barrel
get hot, you can run it.
Exactly.
It's gonna be fine.
It's intended to
be used.
You got a mid-length gas system on this. Very common, very standard. We did not run this thing suppressed. We didn't feel like pulling off the Surefire and swapping it out for like a dead air or something like that. We wanted to run and test this gun exactly how it was. We didn't have any experience shooting it suppressed. So, I mean, in terms of the gassing on it right now, it's very dialed in, you know, perfect. We were getting when we were shooting it in one standard location, we were getting it just, you know, piling it up in one good pile.
What do you think about the rail?
So I like the rail a lot. You know, it's very sturdy. It's a great system on it. It's locked down really, really nice and tight, super secure. American Defense does make the rails.
On the rail, it's lighter than it looks.
Yeah.
Like, it's sturdy. Like, it's not gonna go anywhere. And you can beat it up against a barricade or whatever you want to do.
It's like a nice
here on the top, they did a lot of cutouts to save you some weight. And there's plenty of ventilation in this, because that's when you'll get some that are real beefy and real thick, but you know, there's only ventilation you got, it's the M-lock. But on this one, it's beefy and you know, but it also ventilates real well. We got that thing pretty hot earlier.
And one thing I do like about it, they did run the rail the full length.
Oh yeah, because it kind of gets annoying with some manufacturers where they only do it like here, they quit, and then again right here. So.
Yeah, and when you're trying to maximize your real estate, like you're putting your laser up here, this one's not running a pad, but if you wanted to run a pad, you know,
you'd have to zip tie it and
or
do all kinds of
do something funky. One of the things that I would like to see more often is when people, you know, do full M-lock cuts on all the surfaces. That's just kind of a nitpicky thing. This is perfectly fine how it is. It's just one of those, you know, things. I mean, you already got something that's kind of like an M-LOK slot.
It's just,
But these are bigger cuts. It's,
yeah.
you know, it ventilates, it cools the barrel off, and, you know, it saves you weight in terms of having less stuff on your rail.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, I mean, it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
But I always like to see it because I like sometimes to run my lights on an angle. So it's just different. Moving back to the upper receiver, billeted upper receiver with a premium American Defense Manufacturing bulk carrier group in it. Super nice bulk carrier group. It's ran great. Haven't had any real issues with it. We did have the bolt caught the brass. It was a double feed. I think it was magazine. I think it had a magazine going bad.
Issue, yeah.
But other than that, we haven't had any issues with it. I mean, to make a bolt fail, you have to really
do something
shoot it an absolute ton. And we obviously don't have the funds or the time, as this is still our part-time job, to put it through 5, 6, 7,000 rounds
in a short period.
Yeah,
if you keep buying the merch,
if you keep buying the merch, you know, we could spend a lot more time on it
at one time and not spread it out.
Yeah,
we get it, you know, during the week instead of on the weekends, kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah, we can go through these reviews a lot more
in depth.
Well, not more in depth, but you know, we could move through them faster because we have more time
during the week.
Yeah. So buy a basement operator merch.
Please, thanks.
Shameless plug. Continuing past the bulk carrier group, we have the charging handle. They use a Radian Raptor charging handle, not the LT version.
Just
it is nice and branded American Defense on the back of it. Bougie. So really nice charging handle there. We run Radians pretty much exclusively. Yeah. Unless some odd reason we had
different ones.
Yeah, but we love the Radiant stuff, and you know, it's just very,
for the money, they're great,
high end, and they work well. So, and that's one of the things, like we were talking about at the beginning, when you get the nice Surefire flash hider, it's not stuff you don't need to upgrade any of this.
No,
stuff.
Like this rifle is coming with everything you need. Now, sure, you could tweak your, like I said, like stuff like that, your foregrip, but you can move that kind of stuff around, but
you really don't need anything else.
No, it's ready to rock and roll. You shouldn't have to upgrade anything on this rifle.
Yeah. So I think that's a good segue into the lower receiver, which is, you know, a lot of people think everything is in the upper. It's true, the heart is in the upper, but this lower receiver is a badass lower receiver. So this is a billeted lower receiver. It's got nice, pretty cuts in it.
It's got a lot of lines.
It's got a lot of lines, but it is fully ambidextrous. Every single part of it is ambidextrous, from the bolt release to the mag release to the safety.
Yeah,
all triggers are ambidextrous, but we'll say the trigger is too.
I guess so. But the selector switch, they are Radiant Talons, which are nice, and these are put on 45s, which is different. Not a lot of manufacturers don't do that, but when you buy a Radiant Talons, you can set it to 45. Even if your lower doesn't have the marks for safe and fire on a 45, you can set your Talons to 45 if you want to.
And you run Talons a lot.
Oh yeah, all of mine have Radiant Talons on them. I like them. I like having
and it's a good, nice click. I mean, it's a fantastic safety. For the trigger, it's a Geisley. Was it a G2S? That's the one.
That's one I got in my new GPR.
When we were shooting it, Hunter was asking me how it compares to the BCM. I mean, I was thinking this thing blows the BCM out of the water in terms of, you know, just how good it shoots and how smooth it is. It also costs a lot more than the BCM too.
Oh yeah,
though.
but you got the Ego Stroker. It's got that little G on there.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a fantastic shooting lower receiver. As we had mentioned earlier, kind of the cuts into the lower that make it look really, really well.
Got a lot of lines.
Yeah, got a lot of lines. Kind of a little bit more flared magwell, so you can just, you know, catch your magazines on it a little bit easier.
And your trigger guard is made into the lower, and it's already extended. For if you have with bigger hands, you know, bigger fingers.
Or gloves.
Or gloves when it's cold, you know, it's already much bigger than your standard without having to replace it, which is nice.
Easy to get into.
Yeah, all your controls are ambi.
All the controls are ambi. They run really smooth. Actually, the bolt catch has a extra big bolt catch, which I like. Easier to hit, easier to catch, not hard to, you know, miss and everything. It's got your ambi mag release, which is nice. Really nice.
Because you see really some functional. Out there that you can put in guns that hang up real bad and they just don't work just right. But this one, haven't had a single issue with it. It just works.
And the ambi bolt catch, I love where the ambi bolt catch is.
That's handy.
So like it's kind of similar placement to like a bad lever, but a bad lever is in your
trigger guard.
In your trigger guard, where this is on the side of the lower receiver. I mean, it's just perfect placement.
It's not like sticking out where you can
No,
catch it on something.
and you can just easily just
hit it.
I mean,
it doesn't stick out any farther than your magazine release. So like, it's not going to catch
it's not
anything.
in the way.
Yeah.
It works really, really well. So, I mean,
very well thought out, well made.
So moving back from the lower, I think that's everything to talk about. Well, Magpul grip.
Yeah.
Magpul.
MOE.
Yeah. Whatever. Moving back, we got the end plate, the Castle Nut. The end plate's an American Defense end plate, built-in QD point, which is great, you know, if that's where you like to run.
You got options.
Yeah, you got options. The lightweight Castle Nut.
It's different.
It's bougie looking.
It is nice.
So, I mean, you know, the most important thing on the range
is it really saving you that much weight? Probably not. But
no. But I mean, when you're talking about
ounces add up to pounds.
Yeah, ounces add up to pounds, and you're min-maxing here on these guns.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking like all the features that this thing comes with, you need to shave where you can shave. And this is by no means a very heavy rifle. We have
my Diamondback's a lot heavier than this thing.
Yeah. So you know, you take away where you can, it builds up. Buffer system on it. It's just a very, you know, standard buffer system. It's nothing crazy. And then you got a Magpul stock, and that kind of rounds out the build.
What kind of scope mount you got on here?
Yeah, so it is an American Defense scope mount.
Quick detach.
Quick detach. I can't remember exactly what the model number on this one is. I think it is a part of the ADC series.
Yeah, because you got your quick detach right here.
Yeah, but the quick detach works really well. I mean, I've always been a fan of American Defense quick detaches. We have several of theirs. One for the 510C, one for the Holosun AEMS, and then this one. And then, you know,
they're not bulky. Like you see some quick detaches that are really bulky, and this one
they're really sturdy. But this is also a $300 mount, so you got to, you know, you get what you pay for. I mean, you're paying for a stupid nice mount. You're getting a stupid nice mount. You don't have to worry about the quick detach, you know, walking off, getting loose, or anything like that. They work really, really well. That's kind of the overall gist of this rifle build. I think they did a lot of good things. I think it is a fantastic rifle, and I think, you know, if you're looking to get this, you can't go wrong, because you literally pick this thing up and that's it.
It's ready to go.
It's ready to go. You find your optic, you find what odd attachments you have for it, and you know, you're set. You don't need to be worrying about, you know, your barrel. You don't need to be worrying about any type of
it's ready to go out of the box. You don't have to change, you don't have to upgrade anything. Like, who would you say this rifle's for? Like, is this a first time rifle?
This
is for your job kind of rifle?
This is for your job, or somebody that just wants to buy once, cry once, like a die-hard buy once, cry once guy.
That's going to use it all the time.
Yeah, that's going to use it all the time. Then he's like, I don't want to have to do anything else with this thing. That's who this is for. Or if you're looking for a hard use AR-15 that you don't have to worry about, you know, stuff starting to degrade after like 1,000 rounds. This thing is what you would start to like look for and branch out.
Or if you don't want to have to buy and change everything.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what we have on this rifle. We're just going to glance over this real quick, not really go into a lot of the philosophy of it, because that'll be for a different video. But we're running a new Vortex Venom on the top of it. Yeah, 1-6. It's ran really, really well for, you know, being a sub $500 optic.
It's right at it.
Yeah, right at it. I mean, I would say it's comparable to the Vortex Strike Eagle.
Strike Eagle is just a tier down from it. But yeah, I run a Strike Eagle on my Diamondback, and you can tell a big difference between the two of these.
We have a Holosun laser here on the front, and then a Surefire Vampire here on the side, and then of course the trusty BCM.
Ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. And then Edward Sherman. We actually bounce this sling around all the time because I love it so much. I need to actually buy like 3 or 4 more of them. But that's kind of the gist of the build, and you know, it's really set up for that medium to
higher.
I was gonna say close to medium range shooting, and then obviously with the laser and the lights at nighttime. Shenanigans.
That's right.
Oh yeah. In conclusion, I think this is a really good rifle. Sparky, do you have any criticisms about the rifle? What would you say that American Defense could do to improve the rifle? What do you think, like, because I mean, you know, I would say this is a very well-rounded rifle. I think if you're making improvements to this thing, you're really like,
you must have a real specific need if you have to make changes to this thing. Personally, I think it's fine the way it is. You don't need to. Like, it's got everything you need.
Yeah, and it's well built.
And it's not like, you know, it's not like they make junk stuff and they slap all their stuff on it, so here you go. Like, no, it's set up how you would need it. You shouldn't have to change anything about it.
It works well.
It works well. I'm not a huge fan of the 45 selector switches.
That's just a personal.
That's just personal preference. Now, like I said, this lower is etched, like it's like your safe and fire is cut on the lower for 45s. But you could obviously with the Talon swap that to make it 90s if you wanted to. But I personally don't like 45s. But that's very picky. But as far as the rifle and all, there's nothing I would change about it. I like the rail. It's got plenty of ventilation. It's very sturdy. It saves weight. Like I said, this rifle is much lighter than it looks.
Yeah.
And if you're using it for your job, or like I said, buy once, cry once, it's just well made. There's nothing I would change about it.
Yeah. So the only thing I could think that could possibly be done is, you know, some sort of progression towards maybe the suppressed shooter. So
Adjustable.
You know, some sort of adjustable gas system on it.
And
it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, well, so if you order these from American Defense, you can get different brakes put on them.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. But maybe some sort of like adjustable gas system on it. And you know, with American Defense, you know, you'd expect like a very high-end adjustable gas system. Usually, I'm weary of adjustable gas systems because, you know, if you buy like a cheaper one, you know, you can suffer the consequences of it. But I wouldn't worry about that from ADM stuff. That's just like a very minute criticism. I wouldn't think it's, you know.
That's a good point because, like I said, if you wanted to run it suppressed, then
and you know, a lot of the end users are running like little small K cans on them.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe the gas system on it would handle the suppression just fine. I mean, a lot of guns normally do. But people that like to fine tune their rifles, and maybe this is not that. It wouldn't
be a bad option to do. Yeah. But all in all, I'd highly recommend this rifle if you want a higher end rifle or rifle you're going to use for your job, then this is up there. So we had brought up earlier, and Hunter had asked me when we were filming the B-roll what my thoughts were comparing this to like BCM?
$1,500 BCM. You know, you start to get into the price jumps. So the BCM you're running $1,100 to $1,400, whereas like, you know, this you're pushing that $2,300, $2,400 rifle. You're starting to climb off. Do you think there is a law of diminishing return in this rifle compared to the BCM? What are some of the benefits to this compared to the BCM? And do you think that the jump is worth it? So, for example, I find a lot of value in the lower receiver.
Yes,
because this lower receiver is one of the best lower receivers I think that we have.
It looks like a Radian. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, just the way the ambidextrous stuff is integrated into the lower, it works flawlessly. I like how they have overdone the bolt release. I like how, you know, the magwell has been flared. It's just a very well-made, high-end lower receiver. And I think that lower is a million times better than the BCM lower. It's about double the price of the BCM lower.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of, you know, the end user, that would be
I
worth
agree.
the money.
I like this one better than the BCM, but
you get a Geisley trigger.
Yeah, that's $200. But like, it's very specific on the person. Like someone that's ran a traditional AR with nothing that's ambi won't care because they're like,
yeah, they don't need it.
They don't need it.
Yeah, I guess
they don't see the reason to do it because they're used to running it, you know, old-fashioned, you know, the traditional setup of an AR. They're used to that, so they don't see that this is worth it. So they're like someone like that would be like, oh, it's not worth the money because I don't need that.
Exactly. So I think a good example of where all the ambi stuff comes into play is like when we were hopping out of the truck earlier and shooting, and I was going directly to left hand.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of people aren't doing that. A lot of people aren't, you know, realizing when you need to go to your, you know, offhand side, and then the ability to just manipulate and function your rifle on the offhand side. That's where this shines. And a lot of your, I guess, normal people that aren't training every day, or normal people that, you know, don't, you know, shoot out of their vehicles and hop or go to
get off the flat range a little bit, you know.
Yeah, they're not seeing that, and they just don't need it.
Yeah, they don't see that as a reason to buy it because they're like, oh, It's extra and I don't need it.
And you can do it without it.
Oh yeah,
but it's
sure.
it just makes it easier, you know, hitting the mag release, you know, with your left. So there's use for it, and then all of it's so well made.
That's the biggest thing.
American made and just high quality stuff.
And we're not saying the BCM isn't quality. Is that this is just a step above in our opinion.
And you pay for it.
Oh yeah, your wallet's hurting. It's a whole lot easier to sit on now because it's a lot thinner. I mean, I think it's worth it, but then again, this has to fulfill your need. And if it doesn't fulfill your need, then it's not worth the money.
Exactly. So I mean, don't buy this if, you know,
if those things aren't important to you, don't buy it. Like, plain and simple.
Yeah, and we'll be honest with you.
Because that $1,000 you're saving buys your optic.
Or buys your ammo, or buys a class.
Yeah, buys you a class.
So there's different ways to look at it, and it's really comes down to like what your want is, but you're getting a good product, I guess, is the ultimate end conclusion of this review. You're getting a good product, and your money's not just
being wasted.
So
fantastic.
Yep. I think that about does it. We appreciate American Defense for sending out the lower, and we appreciate Optics Planet for sending out the rest of the goodies. If you want to hit the subscribe button, we're going to be doing some night vision stuff with this gun, and a build overview of this gun, talking about the laser, the light, and all the stuff as a collective.
Getting into nitty gritty a little bit more.
Hit the subscribe button. Make sure to check us out at basementoperator.com, and we'll see you on the next one. As always, take someone outdoors. Peace.
Another black rifle.